What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for Sports. Thinking about Magic Johnson here for a second because of the note by Mr. Kenyon leaving the donation. I've been wondering about this, especially since Magic said recently, I think he was on Club Shay Shay, and he said while he doesn't usually do woulda, coulda, shouldas in his mind, he definitely believes had he never have gotten sick from HIV and had to forcibly retire from the basketball, he felt that he would have played a very, very long time, and probably would have put the assist record out of reach. Now, that's kind of a mind-boggling thing to say, considering that in most people's eyes, John Stockton put that record out of reach with 15,806 career assists. But it's not that out of the realm of possibility for Magic to have done that, because I'm thinking Magic probably would have wanted to play until he was 38, 39 years old, which would have been about a 20-year career, right? Because he indicated he would have played a long time. That's realistic because, look, when Magic more or less retired, I'm not counting 95, 96. When he retired in 91, during that preseason, he was balling. I remember that. Balling during the preseason. And then he got sick in Utah. But there was no discernible slippage. I mean, he was getting maybe a little bit slower, just a tad bit. But he was never a great, great defender anyway. But as far as his overall game, he was always adding different elements to his game. Magic was becoming a better and better jump shooter, a better outside shooter every year to make up for the fact that he wasn't driving to the basket as much, obviously because you're getting older. He was a better free throw shooter. When he first came into the league, he was about average, 74, 75%. Then he became a really good one, 83, 84%. And then at the end, the last 3 or 4 years, he was a great one. Matter of fact, I believe one of those years he led the NBA in free throw percentage. So he became like a 90% free throw shooter. Now, with woulda, coulda, shouldas, you have to assume health. You have to assume that he's not going to get injured often, which you don't know. Players who have these long playoff runs, that does take a toll on you. Now, I will say this. The older players, I'm going to go ahead and throw players of today a bone, okay? The older players who played in the 50s and 60s, even though the playing conditions were inferior, and the game speed was very fast, and they didn't have Chuck Taylors and all those things. But I will say this, though. They didn't play as many rounds in the playoffs back then. Some years it was even a bye that the Boston Celtics had, and then they might have played, a semifinal series or the equivalency of a conference final series and then the finals. Back then it might have been even 2 rounds some years. Then, of course, in the 70s into the early 80s, there were 3 rounds of the playoffs. It wasn't until around 83, 84, I believe, that the playoffs were finally expanded to what we see today, which is 4 rounds. I believe 4. The first round, semis, conference, and then NBA finals. And then, of course, I think around 2002 or 3, it was expanded to 7 games in the first round. So they do play a lot more games in the playoffs than they did before, all right? But having said all of that, it's conceivable that Magic could have had a resume GOAT worthy. I know that if Magic was still playing in LA in 1992 during that season, the 91-92 season, now in reality, Charles Barkley was traded during the offseason, I think it was June of 92. He was traded to the Phoenix Suns. But I have a strong feeling, based upon things I've read, that if Magic Johnson was playing in LA, they would have traded Barkley to the Lakers. Now, what they were giving up, I don't know. Maybe Divac, maybe Worthy at that point. He was diminishing. Maybe Worthy, maybe Divac, he was young. Maybe some other pieces, some other things. But they would have given up. He would have been worth it. And if you have Magic Johnson in LA, that alone is going to attract free agents. So I think the Lakers, had he never retired, would have remained a powerhouse long before they would have fell off. Even as Magic starts to decline, the way that he played the game cerebrally, in a cerebral manner, he would have stayed effective for so long. Similar to this, I think similar how John Stockton, even though he was diminishing physically, he still was effective. I don't think Magic would have just fallen off a cliff. Unless, of course, he started having injury problems. But think about this, y'all. If Magic never got sick, would that have changed a lot of shit? Like, let's say by the mid-90s, when Magic's in his mid to late 30s, falling off a little bit, but still got game. Let's say he's still averaging like 15 and 9.5 assists or something, right? Let's say the Lakers are great. Barkley's there. They've gotten some other free agents that, whatever, let's just name some people. They draft some great players. And let's say, do they still go after Shaq? Do they need to? Would they have the money to go after Shaq in this situation? With Magic still being there, a lot of things have to change. Remember, they traded Divac for Kobe. But if Divac's not there, do they make that trade? Or do they give it to someone else? Do they even care if they're winning championships? Maybe their mindset will be to just preserve the team they have. I'm just saying what have, could have, other alternatives. But anyway, I know I'm kind of getting a little bit away from what I was talking about as far as Magic himself. But at the end of the day, if Magic played until he was like 39, 40 years old, as he indicates, 25,000 career points, more than likely. Most definitely over 20,000. But probably 25,000 career points. Probably has the assist record. I think John Stockton, if in real life he played the same amount of games, he'd get close. But I think in this scenario, Magic will have 16,000 plus assists. Magic will have over 3,000 steals. Hell, I might throw 2 more championships to Magic in this scenario. So then when you look at it, you really have to look at Magic in a whole different light. If he was able to win championships during the Showtime era and then win more championships with a totally different group of players. Remember, Magic took a Laker team to the finals that nobody thought had a business going there in 91 before he got sick. So anyway, I just did this video because I like sometimes just, just thinking about what could have happened, even though we can't prove these things. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.